Hello and welcome to a very special midweek edition of Right from the Kickoff. I'll be your host today, William Bayliss, and as always, we're joined by Joe. Now, Joe, we have so much to talk about this week. I don't know how we're all going to get it in one show. Are you looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, man. There's drama to talk about. Obviously, FA Cup finals, top four races, goalkeepers scoring. Just unbelievable week of football, just in general. VAR drama in the final, just unbelievable. And obviously, transfer talk as well, which we've been kind of guessing for a couple of weeks, but we'll get into that straight away.
Yeah, let's jump straight into that. Now, this news has been brewing for a while, but it really broke truly last night with Harry Kane reportedly saying he wants to leave Tottenham Hotspur. Now, we've been talking about it for weeks, haven't we, Joe? What do you make of it all?
Well, it's no surprise. I think me and you kind of coming in it from two prongs. Obviously you saying as a host on this show, I think he needs to leave if he wants to win trophies, which of course he's always made apparent to the public that he wants to do. So there's that. And I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, he just doesn't look happy. He doesn't look the same sort of Harry Kane that wants to be at Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of been getting progressively worse throughout the season. So all I'm going to say is we're not surprised, are we? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
and this news is broke.
Yeah, completely. Now, I understand people saying, "Oh, but it'll mean so much more if he wins a trophy at Tottenham." He's 27 now. It's not like he's got a 10 years ahead of him at Tottenham, does he? And if you think about it, Tottenham haven't won a trophy for absolutely years. I saw a stat: the last time they won a trophy, since then, 97 players have gone on to win trophies who've left Tottenham Hotspur. Now, if that doesn't scream that Tottenham needs to leave, Kane needs to leave, I don't know what will.
Yeah,
I think he needs to win. He's a player of his ability. He could go anywhere he wants to, can't he, really?
Yeah, he can, and obviously a lot of players and stuff and ex-players of Tottenham have kind of gone. The fans can't really begrudge him that. I think there's two kind of things to this that I want to point out, which is of course depends on where Harry Kane goes. Obviously, he's made a kind of declaration that he wants to stay in the Premier League, which of course I think he wants Alan Shearer's record. And so I think he want to. I think the two front runners for the clubs are Man U and Man City. Now, the question is, if he goes to Man U, I think he'll make Man U a lot more competitive. And obviously they'll be looking to kind of challenge for the title if he goes to Man U. But I think if he goes to Man City, you guaranteed at least 2-3 titles there during his 5-year contract. He'll probably get. So if he wants to go just purely to win trophies, it's got to be Man City, hasn't it? Surely.
Yeah, surely. And Man City have been crying out for a striker for years now. Ever since Aguero has been dwindling a little bit. I think Kane can get in there, banging goals. The only thing with Kane and Man City is that Man City will have to change the system around Kane as a result. Because often now they play in the false nine position. And I know Kane likes to drop back, but it's not his game, is he? He's an out and out striker, isn't he? Really, a classic centre forward.
Yeah, but I think obviously he does like to drop back. But I think what you've got to realise is I think it will be a match made in heaven with Kane and Pep. I think they're two obviously two people at the highest of their profession. We know that Pep's probably one of the best managers, if not the best manager in the world at the moment. And obviously Kane is probably one of the best strikers in the world at the moment. Regardless of, as the English media, we tend to be like, oh, he's not. He's up there with Lewandowski for me for sure. He's an out and out number 9. And he's one of the best in the world. And I don't really see any arguments for that with the amount of goals he scores, especially for a team like Tottenham. So on the Kane front, I think if he wants to win a trophy, he's got to go to Man City. But I can see him going to United as well. But we'll see what happens.
I can also see him either going to Barcelona, because I know there's been glimpses of talking about that, and also I know Bayern Munich already have Lewandowski, but if Kane went there, I think there's 4 potential amazing picks for him, and this is going to do his career a world of good to have one of the world's best managers under his wing. I know he had Pochettino before, But if he had Pep, this is only going to help his England career as well.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
Of course it is. I personally don't think he's going to want to move abroad. I think, like I say, I think if he can get a move to an English club, I think he'll go for that. Just want to touch upon. I know obviously we're probably going to touch upon it later on in the show, but what this means for Tottenham and the players within Tottenham. You know, obviously this news is broke, and also what type of manager they can get in. Because for me, if they lose Kane, they're a mid-table team.
Yeah, and then if Kane leaves, Son will want to leave as well. Like, why? If you were Son, why would you want to stay in that situation?
Well, you wouldn't. I mean, we were talking to obviously guest Will. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, and obviously he was very like, why would you want to leave Tottenham? But I think he was very much, you could tell in that conversation. No disrespect to Will, you know, he's obviously knows his stuff about Tottenham and around football, but you could tell he had the fan blinkers on, which we've all had on. You know, when our best players want to leave the club. You know, you can tell you do have that kind of blinkers. You know, you probably had some players at Nottingham Forest, and I've certainly had some players at Leicester, like Mahrez, for example, have wanted to leave the club. And you're like, no, I don't want to leave.
I know it's on the same level, but it's like Antonio at Forest as well. When he left, I was absolutely gutted.
Yeah, well,
but he's not world class, but he's a top Premier League player, really.
Well, that's the thing, and I mean, for Nottingham Forest at the time, he was the type of player that would just tear the Championship a new one.
Yeah, so, it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
we're digressing slightly.
Yeah, but anyway, just I think Tottenham, they need to look at this positively. It'll be a massive rebuild. They need to get new players and they need to get rid of some of the players they've got in already. I mean, this is probably at least 5 years away now if Kane leaves. For me, from 5 years away from challenging. Obviously, it depends on who they get in. But you look at the market at the moment, you ain't going to replace Harry Kane. I don't care who you are. You're not going to, it doesn't matter what money you get for him, you're not going to replace him.
No, you're not.
Just because of the type of player he is. You know, you're talking top 2-3 strikers in the world. He's one of them.
And very quickly before we wrap up this segment, how much do you think you'll sell for? I think. Do you think it'll be an award record fee?
I don't. Purely.
He's an English player, though.
I would, yeah, but I would have. I know he is, and I know they tend to sell for more. But you know, I think the number is going to be around 100 million. And the reason I say that, I know it sounds very undervalued, but I was listening to some of the pundits last night, obviously when the news broke, and it is very much he's not in the twilight of his career, but this is his last big contract move. So I think it might be a little bit more upwards of 100 million. I think he's worth more than that. I'm not saying that he won't go for more than that. I'm just saying that I think the way it's going to pan out, you know, I don't think he's going to sell for more than we thought he was. If it was 2 years ago, he would have been 150, 170 million, 100%. But I don't think, I think because this is his last big move, and, you know, the clubs that are vying in for him will know that. And also the fact that he wants to leave, does bring down his sale value just a little bit, you know, because he wants to leave. If it was a case of a club wanting to come in for him and he was happy to stay, it would take at least 200 million to get rid of him off his contract. But because he said he wants to leave, they're not going to keep a player that's unhappy to be there. So I think 100 million, 120 million is probably what we're talking. Just because of the kind of stats that are coming out.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll wait and see what happens in that, shall we, Joe? So let's move on to the magic moment for you, Joe. The Leicester City FA Cup win. Now, I'm going to put the floor over to you, Joe. It's your moment. Go for it.
Well, you know, obviously this was a very emotional day for me. You know, with a lot of Leicester fans, including myself, have been kind of like, well, what would you rather have, an FA Cup win or a top 4 place? And I remember on the day I was just like, and this is genuine, I said this to you before the game, didn't I? That I wanted the FA Cup win more, because at the end of the day, trophies stay in the cabinet for forever. As much as top 4 is important, and it will be amazing if we do get it, you know, we will forget eventually whether we got top 4 this season or not, but we'll never forget the first time we picked up an FA Cup. And I think just the emotion for me was unbelievable. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about the game. The game was actually very scrappy. I know you watched it as well, Will.
Yeah.
Very scrappy. But Tielemans, player of the match.
What a goal!
I mean, it's a goal to grace any FA Cup final, any cup final. It's the moment that, as a fan, you want to see. And he just absolutely walloped it. There's nothing Chelsea players could do about it. Probably could have closed him down a bit because we know he's got that in his locker. But yeah, he obviously smashed it, and it was just a very emotional day. Obviously, the minutes were counting down. I was obviously like sweating and worried, and, all this sort of stuff. And then of course we've got to talk about it. Ex-player Chilwell gets him around the back, flicks the ball up, comes off Morgan, who'd been subbed on as in kind of a counteracting Giroud coming on for obviously heading the ball and stuff. And the ball flicks up and obviously hits Chilwell again, goes in, and I've got to be honest with you, mate, my heart hit the floor.
But it sank.
I was just like, it's not going to happen, is it? I was saying, like, come on, it's only 1-1 sort of thing, but in my head I was thinking this is a psychologically going into extra time. This is going to be a kind of a real problem, and especially with it being an ex-player as well. So obviously all the Chelsea players run off. And then I'm thinking, and then I see the goal again. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, he looks offside. And then obviously the commentators are saying he might be offside here. And obviously I'm like, oh my God, I think we might get lucky. And of course it is given offside. And again, just to see the switch in the players, I've celebrated that like a goal. I actually celebrated that moment more. And I think the reason I've celebrated that moment more was because of the timing of the game.
Yeah.
We were 5 minutes away then, and after that, you could really tell it sucked the wind out of Chelsea. And
they didn't really have a real chance after that, did they?
No, we went on to win it, but
Schmeichel made an unbelievable save.
I mean, that's got to go up there with the goal. I mean, he made 2 unbelievable saves. The first one, he dived, pushed it onto the post, which was a great save. But the save he made from Mason Mount, I mean, Mason Mount thought he'd scored. It was that good a save.
He hit it so cleanly, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But Schmeichel's got unbelievably strong wrists, and he's probably, in my opinion, obviously it's biased, but in my opinion, he's one of, if not the best shot stopper in the league. He's unbelievable, and that he proved that on Saturday. And my God, mate, I had a bit of a sore head on Sunday morning, but
I bet you did. I remember your messaging me. I really wish we could have watched it together. Obviously, with COVID times, we couldn't. But what a game!
I mean, it's just unbelievable, mate. And to every Leicester fan that was there, and I think that's more important. You talked about COVID times, the fact that fans were allowed back in the stadium. And
it was so great, that atmosphere. You can tell Leicester. It meant, if Chelsea wouldn't be like, nah. But because Leicester weren't, you could tell the fans truly. It means more to them.
Yeah, and I think you look at Top, the owner afterwards coming down and celebrating with the players, lifting the cup himself, and I think this is what people talk about when they say that we're a well-run club. You could tell it meant something to the owner as well.
Yeah,
he really cares about the club, and the way he hugged all the players, he's got individual relationships with all the players, as we've talked about. It's brilliant.
Unbelievable. And you would never see that in a supposed quotation marks top 6 club, would you?
No.
It's just the way the football club is run. It's a credit. It's a credit to the country. I was going to say the East Midlands, but to the country as well. Really, let's be real.
This is what football's done now. I've had rival fans messaging me all over the weekend saying, I'm really happy Leicester won, kind of thing, because at the end of the day we are standing up for the little guy a little bit, and to see us win the FA Cup. But I have to say, for Leicester now, whatever happens, and obviously I really want them to get top 4. Still want them to do well. Obviously they've got a big game tonight against the same opponents. But to be honest, if we don't get top 4, the fact that we've won an FA Cup and we've already got a Europa League place, you can't really begrudge that from Leicester, can you?
Yeah, 100%.
And to be honest, with the talent we've got on the side, I wouldn't put it past Leicester to challenge in the Europa League next season. They've had the experience of this season, and they need to be a bit more savvy. But 2 years in the Europa League, if it happens, I mean, they're still in. Let's not forget, they're still in a very, very strong position to qualify for the Champions League. But if it doesn't happen, I think Leicester, they are a team that can win silverware now. We know that. With Premier League and now FA Cup in the last 5 years, they are challenging for these cups they can challenge for, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
so why not?
Why not? And what this means to Chelsea is that Man City will be licking their lips saying, oh, because this is 2 big games they've lost it now, isn't it, for Chelsea?
Yeah.
The last few games.
Yeah, obviously they lost against Arsenal just before the FA Cup. They weren't quite right. You could tell the headspace wasn't right with the way they played. And they didn't play very well on Saturday. Let's not make any bones. Leicester played a scrappy game because of the nerves as well, but Leicester were the better side overall, and they deserved to win. I think honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Tuchel's in a bit of trouble if they lose tonight against Leicester. I really do. If they lose tonight, that's 3 big games. That's 3 big cup finals. They've lost twice to the same team if they lose tonight. I don't think they will do, by the way, but we'll go on to critics.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to the top 4 flight then, shall we?
Yeah.
So we can't talk about that before we talk about the Liverpool results. Now, it was huge results for Liverpool, beating Man United 4-2, which I'm just going to touch on quickly before we move on to the massive Alisson last-minute winner against West Brom. But first, against Man United went to goal up, and you're like, Man U were playing really well for the first 10-15 minutes. They were pressing high with pressuring the 2 inexperienced Liverpool centre-backs, which really worked, played difference for Man United. And then Man United, it's a combination of Liverpool flicking up the gears and Man United. You could tell they were missing a leader in Maguire. Now, there was just no real shape. Rashford was on the right-hand side, wasn't he? Pogba was on the left-hand side. When really, Pogba is not really a winger, is he? Let's be real.
No. He's much better in the centre of the park.
And Rashford is better on the left-hand side. So you're thinking, just put Rashford, just switch from him, because Pogba's a roamer anyway, so he can go anywhere he wants. But it wouldn't matter as much. So Man United, the spine of the team, something was missing about it, wasn't it?
Well, I think Gary Neville, ex United player, kind of hit the nail on the head, and you could kind of see it once Liverpool got control of the game. This game meant more to Liverpool because of their league position. Yes, it was against United. Yes, it was their rivals. Yes, but they needed to win the game, even if it wasn't against United and it was against somebody that they didn't have any kind of stake in. And we saw that against West Brom. It was important for them to win the game. They need to win every game now to get into the top 4. So obviously, it meant more to them, and they you could tell that they were on it. And they obviously went and did it, and they won. And I mean, obviously, let's go on to the West Brom game now, because that was just
unbelievable. Now West Brom went a goal up in this, didn't they? Then Liverpool equalised through Mo Salah in the 33rd minute, and then in the last minute of stoppage time, you always see keepers go up for corners, don't you? Alisson goes up, and because obviously there's the box was overloaded, no one was marking Alisson, and he just had. I'll tell you what, though, it's an unbelievable header by the Liverpool goalkeeper.
It's a great header, but I do want to touch upon the defending. I know he's an extra man, and I know you're marking him, right? But he's just walked into the box unmarked, and it's almost like the West Brom players thought, well, he's not going to actually get the ball, so it's fine. And then, of course, I saw it happening before it happened. It was one of those moments where you could almost tell the future about, before 5 seconds. He runs into the box. He's completely unmarked, and obviously it's unsettled the defence a little bit. And I mean, it's a great header from a keeper, and what a moment for him. And fair play to Liverpool again. But I have to say, the marking from West Brom, last minute, last corner. I mean, this when we say this was the last kick of the game, we're not joking. It was. It was 4 minutes.
The last head of the game.
Yeah. 4 minutes, added time, and it already ticked over into 4 minutes. Obviously, Mark Dean was the referee, let the corner play, which is fair enough. Corner comes in, and Alisson, fair play to him. I mean, it was one of those moments for me, because obviously I'm wanting Liverpool to lose at the moment. I like Liverpool, always have. As a club, I like to watch them. Always have done. When Leicester were down in the Championship, I always like to follow Liverpool, see how they do. But obviously, with them chasing down Leicester for this particular season, I'll obviously want them to slip up. But
yeah, because 2 matches to go now.
I have to say, for a football moment, it was quality. It was
Yeah,
one
it
of
was
those.
unbelievable.
It was one of those moments where I kind of went. I felt sick a little bit after it happened because I was like, "Oh, what does this mean for Leicester?" But then you kind of just got to be like, "Fair play,"
It was crazy because I was playing football at the time, so I didn't watch the live moment itself. But I was playing football and everyone was getting texts like just as we finished because it was just as he scored as well when we finished playing football, and they're like, I think Alisson just scored a last minute header, and we were like, no way.
Yeah,
It was like unbelievable.
yeah, yeah. It was great to watch.
And
Obviously,
fair
and
play to Liverpool though.
yeah, I think to be honest though, and this might be me being a bit hopeful, but I think they are gonna. I think they will win the next 2 games, but I don't think it's gonna come easy because I think what players and people tend to forget is Liverpool have struggled this season more so against teams that sit back against them. Uh,
Yeah,
and we actually did find that um, on Sunday. Obviously, they did come out winners in the end, but obviously West Brom put pretty much everyone behind the ball, and Liverpool did struggle at times. So we'll see what happens. But they're well
yeah,
in it now, and like I say, it's in their hands.
yeah. And they're playing Burnley and Palace last 2 games, so like you were saying, they could slip up. But with Tottenham playing Chelsea next, with Leicester playing Chelsea next, with Leicester having 66 points, Chelsea having 64, and Liverpool having 63, it's a real chance. That
Yeah,
if you didn't want Liverpool to get top 4, you'd want Chelsea to win that game, and hopefully Leicester win the last game against Tottenham by an unbelievable scoreline, because it might come down to goal difference in that case, might it?
yeah. To be honest though, I'd much prefer. I'd much prefer, obviously, Leicester to do Chelsea again tonight, and top 4 secured then. But I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's just when you just get a feeling because of course what's happened at the weekend and stuff. Chelsea are going to be up for it. They don't need any more motivation than they've already had to
Yeah,
go to
100%.
go and win this game. So it's going to be interesting.
Now, let's move on to the other Thursday game, Villa Everton. Now, this was a bit of a boring 0-0, wasn't it, in the end?
Yeah, just ended mathematically ended Everton's chances of top 4 pretty much.
Yeah,
It was boring,
yeah,
very boring. And Everton have actually, we'll talk about their other result coming in, but they've had a poor couple of days because obviously they lost to Sheffield United as well. I'm going to bring that up now actually.
yeah. Talk
Uh,
about it now. Yeah,
1-0, and you just Everton. Even with Liverpool's poor season, Everton are always in Liverpool's shadow, aren't they? Kind of. You just kind of think that they go, well, if we can get past Liverpool, we've had a good season. I think, and a lot of Everton fans, if you're listening, you probably won't like me for saying that, but it just does feel like that. It's kind of like Liverpool haven't had a great season. I mean, regardless of whether Liverpool get a top 4, they've not had a great title defence, have they?
no. But they're ending the season strongly, to fair. And if they finish on a top 4, I would say it's a
No,
bit more successful.
yeah, no, of course, but the point I'm trying to make is about Everton is I just kind of feel like it's a real damp squid. I know they've had injuries and stuff, but they were playing. I mean, I don't mean this any disrespect to Sheffield United. Fair play for winning, but you're playing Sheffield United. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, let's be honest. Sheffield United have been absolutely diabolical this season. Let's be honest,
yeah,
especially since Chris Wilder's left. And the fact that they lost to them. I mean, they are a championship side, so it's a very, very poor result in my opinion.
really poor. Yeah, you'd expect them to do more than that.
Yeah, it's just
Let's
ridiculous.
move on to the next game. Now, what a game this was. Newcastle against Man City. Newcastle actually went 1-0 up under Prof. And then Cancelo equalised. Ferran Torres made it 2-1 Man City. Jolkin scored a last minute in the first half from a penalty to make it 2-2. Willock, that Arsenal youth player on loan to Newcastle, made it 3 to Newcastle. And then Ferran Torres scored 2 more goals in 2 minutes to make it 4-3, and that's how it ended. And now, before we go into any more details, I just want to give a shout out for Scott Carson, roughing it in goal. His first game in the Premier League for 10 years on loan from Derby County. And what a way. He will definitely be getting a Premier League medal now, won't he?
Yeah, I mean, I saw an interesting stat. I think it was Andre Iniesta has got an 89 pass completion under Pep, while Scott Carson's got a 90 pass completion. So that's a stat for you. No, but obviously, really happy for the bloke. Didn't do my fantasy points any good though. Because I was expecting Alisson to play, obviously.
Yeah, if only you had the Liverpool keeper in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wish I did. But yeah, it's fair play to him and nice touch from Pep as well to put him in.
Yeah, I think it's credit because I think he's probably retiring at the end of the season, isn't he?
Yeah,
Now?
yeah, I think that was kind of a nod to Scott Carson's career. He's had a good career, to be fair. He's not been playing at the top level for a number of years now, but he's been a good goalkeeper for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And fair play to Man City. Obviously, they've guaranteed the title now. They're just moving on, warming up for the Champions League final, and you have to fancy them, don't you? I know we'll have a special show later on, but you have to fancy them, don't you, in that final now? Especially with Chelsea slipping up the last few games. You're like, can Chelsea do it in the big games?
Yeah, I mean, let's just ask this question actually out to the kind of the audience, and I'm going to pose this question to you as well, Will. If Chelsea get top four, which obviously still in the hands, but they lose the Champions League final, obviously they've lost the FA Cup final. Has this season been a success or has it been a failure? Or if you're kind of sitting on the fence, which one has it been more of? Success or failure since Tuchel's come in?
I'm going to say success because getting to the Champions League final in any team is no mean feat, regardless. If you get to the Champions League final, you'll be like, yeah, we've had a successful season. Unless you're like a Real Madrid. Like Real Madrid haven't had the best season, have they? And they haven't gotten to the Champions League final. You know what I mean?
I feel like the issue is with Chelsea is they have like a Man City kind of bar for their club. So whether or not it'll be seen as a successful season by the fans is another thing. But because we've got to bear in mind that this is a club steeped in history, and wants to be challenging for everything, which they have been doing. But if you lose those things, I'm not so sure. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. But I would say that when you consider when Tuchel came in, where they were, even to get top four, Champions League final, and FA Cup final appearances, it's not a bad season, is it really?
Yeah, 100%. Now let's move on to the next few games. I think we're going to do some quick fire results. Leeds won 4-0 against Burnley. This was a classic Leeds performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, good result.
Really, really good result. And I think that Leeds are hopefully going to end the season a bit strongly now, the last two games. Southampton beat Fulham 3-1. Now Fulham already down and Southampton already safe, but I think it holds. Southampton want to finish strongly, get a bit of momentum in for next season, won't they?
Yeah, they will, and I think again under the guidance of Ralph Hasenhüttl, I think they'll be fine next season in terms of no relegation worries. But like you said, I think they'll want to get momentum and try and push for those Europa League places for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Brighton West Ham now. This finished 1-1. If you're West Ham, you'd be very, very disappointed because it kind of makes it mathematical. Like it'll be really, really hard for them to finish in the top four. It's very, very unlikely.
I think it's nigh on impossible now. They can't catch Leicester, obviously, and I still think that Leicester could finish outside the top four. So I think it's done now for them.
Yeah, it's a real shame because I really wanted them to finish strongly, but they just haven't let themselves the last two games, have they?
No, they haven't, and I think actually the two games after the Leicester, I know obviously they beat Burnley, didn't they? But the two games before that, they lost as well to Newcastle, and I can't remember who else, but they lost two important games. as well. So that's really where their season was defined, wasn't it?
Yeah, and if they won those games, they would still be in the top four now. Let's be real, because they would be on. They would be on like 65 points, which would put them ahead of Chelsea, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. So they'd still be well in it. And I thought they would be at this point, but they've just kind of tailed off, haven't they, unfortunately?
Yeah, unfortunately. Moving on to Crystal Palace Villa. Now, again, this was a really, really good game. It was 3-2 Crystal Palace in the end, which was surprising because Villa have the form. But what did you think of it, Joe?
I thought it was a very, very poor half from Villa. Second half, there was only a team that looked like winning it. They were going down 2-1 into it, Crystal Palace, but they played some really good stuff. And let's give 21-year-old Mitchell, who got the winning goal, some praise. He got the winning goal, and yeah, fair play to Crystal Palace for fighting. They got 3 points and well deserved for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And the young player Heze as well for Crystal Palace.
Oh,
he could be a real talent because obviously he's English as well.
He's a player. He's a baller. You can tell he just when he picks up the ball. Sometimes you're always thinking he can run at players. He can pass. He's a very good player. You look at him and
he's really young still as well, isn't he?
Yeah, you look at him and Zaha and you go, yeah, they're the two players that you really feel are a threat for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, 100%.
It's actually good as well for Zaha that he's got somebody else that can not shoulder the load. But when you're like the star man, sometimes you need that other player, don't you, just to kind of keep defences busy, if that makes sense.
100%. And let's see what happens next season. Very exciting times.
I think just quickly, well, I think obviously Roy Hodgson's going to leave. Frank Lampard's been mentioned for the job, so that'd be interesting if that does happen.
I think that would be a good appointment,
Yeah, it will be. Right, sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. And finally, Tottenham 2, Wolves 0. Wolves again finishing a bit. They've had a bit of a topsy-turvy season, haven't they, Wolves? But 2-0 Tottenham, fair result.
Kane scored again.
Yeah, it's really hotting up for this golden boot now. Kane and Salah both on 22 goals, and I don't know. To be fair, Kane has got 13 assists, so either or. I know we're going to talk about it later, but Kane is going in my team of the season for me, regardless of how Tottenham have done this season.
For me, I think it just depends on how he plays for the rest of the season, whether his head if he just kind of goes off the ball. I don't think he will because he's a consummate professional, but it'd be interesting to see how he gets received by the Spurs fans as well in his last game in front of fans.
Oh, of course, with fans being in the ground.
Yeah.
That's going to be big.
It'll be interesting. Interesting, for sure.
Indeed. Let's do a quick fire round of predictions now. So I'll say all the games. There's quite a few going on today and tomorrow. So let's start with Man United Fulham. I think this is going to be 3-1 United. What do you think, Joe?
I can't see anything else but United win. I'm going to go 2-0 United.
Yeah, that's fair. Southampton Leeds. This is going to be a tough game. I'm going to go 3-2 Leeds. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
I think I'm going to go 3-1 Leeds. I think Leeds are a good side.
Yeah.
And they'll surprise a few people again next season. I think they'll get Europa League next season.
I hope so. That'd be massive for them. Brighton, Man City. Obviously, I can't see another than a Man City win, but I'm going to go 3-1 to Man City again.
I'm going to go 3-0 Man City.
3-0 Man City. Now, arguably, this next game is the biggest one of the season in terms of what it means for the top four. Chelsea, Leicester. I know Leicester might be a bit hungover for the cup final win, and Chelsea might want to prove it. So I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
I would, the pundit in me saying the same. I think Chelsea will win this, but for my predictions and purely because I'm a Leicester fan, I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester.
Oh, that would be big. Well, let's rush through these now, shall we? So Everton Wolves, I'm going to go 2-0, 2-1 Everton.
I'm going to go 1-0 Wolves.
I don't know what that'll be big. Newcastle, Sheffield United. I think is. Oh, I'm gonna go 4-1 Newcastle.
I'm going to go 3-0 Newcastle.
Tottenham Villa. I'm gonna go 2-1 Tottenham.
I'm going to go 2-0 Villa.
Oh, that'd be big. Crystal Palace Arsenal. I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal.
I'm going to go 1-0.
Now another big game. Burnley Liverpool. I'm gonna go 1-1. You know, that'll be big. You're licking your lips at that, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool will probably win, but I want to make it a bit more spicy. West Brom, West Ham. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham.
I'm going to go 2-0.
You know what, that's fair. Now, these are just our predictions. If you have your own predictions or anything what we said regarding the Kane transfer, we want to hear your news and views on that. But Alisson last minute ahead of what it means for Liverpool. And the Leicester City win. If you're a Leicester City fan, if you're a Chelsea fan, please get in touch and let us know what you thought of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And make sure you subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yeah,
just follow us on there.
Just a quick shout out for Player of the Week, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to get onto that as well.
Oh,
Who's your Player of the Week, Joe?
Right, my Player of the Week, it has to go to Alisson. It's the only time we've got to give it to a goalkeeper. I think it has to, just for what it means.
Yeah, 100%. I want to give a shout out to Ferran Torres for his hat trick as well. That was no mean feat, and his flick for one of the Man City goals was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think the only reason I've gone for Alisson is because of what it means and kind of just the kind of stage that it happened and everything. It has to go to him, surely.
Yeah, 100%.
Any other week it'd have been Torres.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, thanks very much, Joe, as always. And as always, again, we'll be joined by Peter Crouch next week. Not next week, it'll be this Friday because we're going to have 2 episodes this week, aren't we, Joe?
Yeah, we are. Obviously, got to talk about the results of this midweek fixture list, and then of course leading on to, I think it's Sunday they're playing, or is it Saturday? I think it might be Sunday. Sunday 4:00, I believe.
Yeah, Sunday 4:00. So we'll have a podcast on Friday. So make sure you tune into that. And thanks very much.
Just a quick shout out as well for next week is we'll be obviously running through the results of the weekend, but we're also going to be giving each of our team of the season. So and that'll be on for next week's show.
Yeah, sounds good. So make sure you tune into then, and I'll see you later, Joe.
All right, see you later, mate. Yeah, thanks a lot.